I'm getting a call.
You're just gonna mute yourself, or okay, yeah, that's what's happening. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm not sure if Mike can hear me. I hope he can't because it seems like he's on a very important business call. But Joe back here and Mike at point to talk about the Thunder and the well, we'll talk about all three elimination games for the Thunder and the Thunder and the Mavericks, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, and the Knicks and the Pacers. Mike just said, "Yeah, if I get a call, I'm gonna have to mute myself for a bit." And as I hit record, oh, there it is. So we're starting without Mike. That's fine though. Usually I just ramble here. Hopefully he's done by the time that we are done rambling. So let's start with the first game, the game from 2 days ago, the Thunder and the Mavericks. It started right off the tip-off. SGA gets it to Jalen Williams, a 2-0 lead 3 seconds in. Really bad luck for the Mavericks, right? No, it's really not. Dort ends up with 9 points in the first 4 minutes. However, he gets three fouls in the first 5 minutes and has to sit practically the rest of the first. Just goes to show how fouling can hurt a team and a player, and that they need to work on this crap. Jalen Williams gets a half-court buzzer beater to end the first. They lead 30-23. SGA has 21 plus in the first half, and Luka does well. Luka goes off as well. A long three gives them their first lead of the night. I think it was like 42-41 at this point, midway through the second. The Mavericks, there goes Mike. The Mavericks score I'm sorry. After the Mavericks get their lead, they only score four more for the rest of the half, while the Thunder explode to score 20 more, 64-48 at the half. Obviously, this is an elimination game where the Mavericks are facing elimination. I'm sorry, the Thunder are facing elimination. Mike just texted me, my bad, I'm a lost cause. But yeah, the Thunder are facing elimination here, and they are off to a very good start in the first half. The Mavericks, however, cut it to 10 to start their second half. To start the second half. I'm a lost cause without Mike. What can I say? I've already fumbled like three sentences. But the Thunder erupt again. Holmgren gets up to 15 points. Dort, however, picks up his fourth foul on Luka and one. The Mavericks force back-to-back turnovers. Kyrie and Luka get threes here. Obviously, the Mavericks are closing in at this point. Dort gets his fifth fucking foul. So don't know why you are defending the way you are, buddy. I don't know how to play basketball, so I can't even say anything. But the Mavericks get a 7 point deficit by the end of the third. Don't forget, this was a 15 point. So they already did over half of what they needed to for the end of the fourth. The Mavericks keep creeping closer, at one point even tying it, but OKC keeps breaking ahead. After they tied it, it was a five straight point run for the Thunder. But finally, a PJ Washington three is able to tie the game permanently. Well, they're not going to go back down, is what I'm trying to say here. And for the second time this game, obviously Luka got them back a lead early in the second. This time, Luka gets them back a lead midway through the fourth. Jalen Williams answers that with a three and then blocks Luka on his next. So Jalen Williams is like, fuck no. However, that rebound gets out to Kyrie, and Kyrie goes in for a clutch three. This thing is like rimming its way around the basket and then finally drops. Those are the funnest I like to see go in, but obviously I kind of wanted, being a Celtics fan, the Thunder in the finals would have been preferable. So I was like, don't go in, don't go in. But this shit went in, and the Mavericks are back to what, a 3 point lead, I think. Um, then Washington, oh yeah, then they're inbounding. The Thunder are inbounding. They call timeout to inbound, and I'm sorry. Yep, okay. They call timeout to inbound, and um, Washington does a dumbass fucking foul. Like I said, I don't understand some of these fouls. He practically shoves shit, who did he shove? I forget who he shoved, but SGA took the free throws because SGA was fouled prior, resulting in the pass in. I think he fouled like Williams or some shit. I forget. But SGA makes those free throws, and then SGA fouls Washington on a three. With like no time left in the game, I'm talking 2 seconds. The Thunder have a 1 point lead, 116-115. And SGA undisciplined foul. So this whole game is just one undisciplined foul after the other, and SGA gets the late one. Washington makes two of his to the first two free throws to give them the lead, then misses the last one on purpose because the Thunder have no timeouts left and they have to make it up the court in 2 seconds, which of course they do not do. And the Mavericks win game six and win the series and will advance to face I wonder who. Anyways, we'll get to that later. Back to what the Mavericks and the Thunder stats were for this game. Derrick Jones Jr., 22 points. I didn't notice him. That's crazy. Luka, obviously, when I say obviously, I mean, when does he not get a triple-double? 10, 10, 29, 22 from Kyrie, 15 rebounds, and 12 points for Derek Lively. Let's get a quick shout out for Derek Lively. We heard it from Luka post game, but we need one ourselves here. He was plus 26 at the end of this 1 point deficit game, which is absolutely insane. Great job, Derek Lively, keeping your team in it and being a presence on the court, whether or not that was on the score sheet as well. Jalen Williams on the other side of the ball, 22. Chet Holmgren, 21. I'm surprised Dort played 32 minutes. He only ended up with 11 points. Don't forget, he had 9 quick ones. So then he only scored 2 because he had to worry about his damn fouls. But Shea had 8 assists and 36. Yeah, 36 points for Shea, which is absolutely insane. Shea was performing really well over the course of the whole game. He played 43 minutes. He was getting obviously his step back shots and a three every now and then, but it is not enough. The Mavericks complete the crazy ass comeback that no one's gonna talk about, and you'll see why later. And the Mavericks advance to the next round, the conference finals, for the first time since they in 22 because they beat the Suns, that's right, and the Warriors beat them. So they're back. Dallas had one off year, but they're back to the conference finals. And let's look at these contracts for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think this is a success year. Obviously, being the first seed, you want to make the finals. However, this is a very, very young first seed. Not Utah Jazz-esque because obviously the Jazz were just ass and then they just did nothing from there on out. But I would say in terms of unexpectedality, if that's a word, Utah Jazz-esque, but unlike the Jazz, they will be back here. I'm not sure if they'll be first overall again, but they will definitely be back in the race for the chip. Um, they oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong team here. There we go. Thunder, Lightning and the Thunder. Gordon Hayward expiring. I didn't even fucking see him out there. Who the hell cares? Um, that's really it. They have Mike Muscala. I didn't even know that. So that's really it for their expiring contracts. After this, Giddy has 1 year left on his. Isaiah Joe 1 year left. Wiggins 1 year left. But yeah, no, they no expiring contracts really. So we don't even have to go into that. I say the Thunder run it back with the same group. I don't think they did anything wrong. If I was them, I would do the same thing I suggested for the Magic, which is bring back and during at the trade deadline, bring in somebody who has playoff experience. Bring in someone who's a veteran. Pascal Siakam, you clearly see what that did for the Pacers. I can sit on my high horse and say, all right, the Pacers, yeah, like because I was saying Siakam like 2 games in was going to make the difference for the Pacers, and obviously look where they ended up. Of a lot of it was Halliburton, but you can't deny the veteran presence of Pascal Siakam, and just like that, we are going to transition into the Pacers game. And the Knicks, Anunoby returns for 5 minutes. He sinks his first three, which is very early in the game, gets another highly contested long two, and then he is injured again. He was having trouble dribbling the ball and moving, but he was making his shots. However, it was not enough for dickhead Tom Thibodeau. When will he ever learn? If it's not this year, then it's never, because we're going to see what happens later in the game, which is just as bad, if not worse. Actually, it is worse. Halliburton making some crazy stupid shots. He has double digits in the first. I think it was like around 15. He was doing really, really well. The whole Pacers squad was shooting over 80% to start this game. It's unbelievable. The Pacers led by as many as 20 to 25 in the first half. Brunson and Burks were the ones working together. They knock it down to 15. Burks was having a great, great game. Great, great postseason for Alec Burks. Why is this guy coming off the bench? I don't understand. Could it be like a Derek White spark off the bench like last year? I'm not 100% sure. That would make some sense. But for a system like Tom Thibodeau's, it doesn't make that much sense because you don't rely on the spark off your bench if you're Tom Thibodeau. You rely on over abusing your starters and getting them injured and then having to rely on your bench. He's such a douche, man. It just pisses me off. But early in the second half, the Knicks drive, DiVincenzo three makes it 8-point deficit early in the third. The Pacers keep trying to push away, but Brunson and DiVincenzo are the ones answering them. The fifth three for DiVincenzo gets them as close as they're going to get with a 7-point deficit. Turner, however, has a three off of a Michael McBride turnover, turns it over to Nemhard, makes it 10 points again. Another turnover on the follow-up possession. Neesmith, I'm sorry. So then another set of points for the Pacers. And then Aaron Neesmith turns it over on the inbound rebound. Another two-pointer, count it, and one quick 8 points to go back up by 8-15. 8 points off turnovers like that. It's bad basketball by the New York Knicks, trying too hard for it. And like I said, they had just cut it to a 7-point deficit, the closest they're going to get. This was the turning point in the game. They are not coming back from here. And a lot of that reason is at the end of the third. Jalen Brunson broke his hand. Now, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the overworking from Tom Thibodeau. Like I am very critical of. To me, it sounds like a freak accident if it's a hand injury, not a leg injury, right? However, I'm gonna blame Tom Thibodeau just because I love blaming Tom Thibodeau for everything. Um, I have grown to realize I really, really like this New York Knicks squad. Brunson, I have no problem with. DiVincenzo, I said, I said DiVincenzo is going to be a problem. Mike said he's not getting 34 for the rest of the postseason. Let's see what Dante DiVincenzo ended up with this game, because I will tell you what, it was more than 34. That's why I really wish Mike was here right now. Where is he? Dante DiVincenzo got 39 of the 109 points for the New York Knicks. So there you go. DiVincenzo goes off again. I'm glad I was right about that. And I'm glad I was right about Alec Burks doing well, because I said that why is Alec Burks coming off the bench? And at that, I'm sorry, why is he coming off the bench so little? Why are you using this horrible ass system, Mr. Thibodeau, if your bench has someone like with Alec Burks' caliber on it? It makes absolutely no sense to me. And he's over there on the sideline, constantly looking confused. I hate the look on his face when he just looks fucking confused. He's like, why is this happening? Why are we losing? Why? Dude, how about you change what the hell you're doing? Because it clearly is not working. You have no championships. I think you made the finals once. I don't know. I asked Mike on that information. I recall that's what he gave me. Um, I don't understand. He's such an ass. I hope he doesn't return. I really like the Knicks in the group that they have there. I hope a lot of them return. We'll look into that in a second here. I just needed to rant on Thibodeau. I hope he's gone. I hope he's banished to the depths of hell. There is no NBA team I hate enough to hope that he becomes their coach. I hope the Toronto Maple Leafs fire Craig, whatever this fucking last name is, Berube, whatever his name is, and hire Tom Thibodeau. So no, I don't even wish on that on the Leafs, because I don't wish injuries on anybody. So no, I don't even wish that on the Toronto Maple Leafs. God. Anyways, though, last note I had here for the game. DiVincenzo back-to-back threes. There you go. Pacers already ran away with it. DiVincenzo and Burks do their best to keep the team in the game, but a Siakam three gets it to a 20-point lead. Now the Knicks are able to cut into this 20-point lead, however, not much, and they extend it to 21 to win the game. As we already said, DiVincenzo 39, Brunson 17, but he only had 29 minutes played because of his injury. Alec Burks 26 points off the bench. If you are a Knicks fan, you have nobody to blame but Tom Thibodeau, and that's an understatement. The Knicks would be they would be facing the Celtics if Tom Thibodeau was not the coach. I don't I don't care how good a coach he is. His faults outweigh his positives. I don't even need to know anything about basketball to know that. You got Anunoby injured. Bogdanovich injured, Jalen Brunson. I mean, I'm still gonna say injured. It's just unbelievable. I'm missing one person. Julius Randle injured. You would be facing the Celtics and you would be putting up a great fight against them if you were in this. But unfortunately for you, Tom Thibodeau exists and your franchise is down in the dumps because fucking Thibodeau. So we'll see how they do next year. Probably a very reminiscent season of this. Um, Indiana Pacers are moving on to the conference finals to face the Boston Celtics. This should be an entertaining series. If you are a Celtics fan, hopefully they can get it done in a few games. Kristaps Porzingis will not be back for the first few games. So the Pacers do have the upper hand to take advantage there. Game two curse for the Celtics. We will see. But yeah, we will have to deal with Halliburton and Siakam instead of an injured ass Knicks team. Some might say that's worse. So we will see. However, Knicks contracts, who is leaving after this year? Alec Burks is expiring. I would resign him if I was the group. However, he might not want to after not getting fucking played. Hartenstein, ooh, that will be a big loss for them. They'll have to go into the market for a big. I say you re-sign Hartenstein. I say you run it back. I'm not sure if they will, but I say you run it back with the same squad. Um, then with Julius Randle, if Randle makes a difference in the playoffs, obviously I have been told that he kind of sucks in the playoffs, but I mean you got to break through eventually. I'm sorry, I'm eating a lot, huh? Uh, I was just reading off the computer. I don't think the Knicks should change anything. Same with the Thunder. I think you run it back like this. There's not too much differently you could have done. You lost in seven, and your whole roster was injured. I think the one thing you do is fire Tom Thibodeau, but they probably won't because for whatever reason, this guy is getting jobs still. I don't know why. So I'm not gonna go any more into it. I already have. If I've said enough when I say I don't even wish the Maple Leafs this fate. You know what I mean? Like if I say that, I don't need to say fucking anything else. Because I wish them every horrible ridden fate in the book, except for injuries, because I'm not I don't think like that. I'm not a douche who cheers for injuries. Um, and I would not wish for them to be coached by Tom Thibodeau. Hold on, my phone is frozen. There we go. All right, on to the final game we're discussing here. Mike is apparently just um my laptop made a weird noise there. All right. The Timberwolves and the Nuggets. This game showed proof that of two things. The Timberwolves are an inexperienced team, but Anthony Edwards is him, and Gobert is Defensive Player of the Year. They start fine. The Timberwolves start fine, but they go on at least three scoreless drives where the Nuggets go 8-0 or more, definitely or more in a lot of these situations, and you can't allow that. You can't allow that three times in a game seven. It was very, very frustrating for someone who wanted to see the Nuggets lose. Cat was playing well, but other than that, it was just disgusting. Jamal Murray had 20 plus in the first half. Edwards had just 4, and the Nuggets lead by 15. And like I said, there were spurts where the Timberwolves played absolutely fine. But they allowed these drives that just without scoring, and it's just a sign of the Nuggets' experience and the Timberwolves' inexperience. Their only experiences in the playoffs lately were losing to the Nuggets in 5. We'll see how that ages, though, because I sound way too mad for a guy who's about to be happy in a few seconds. Jokic, by the way, double-double at half, obviously. Um, Murray opened the second with a 20-point lead eventually for the Nuggets here. They're forced, however, to call a timeout shortly after with Minnesota coming alive. McDaniel's 3 cuts it to 9 right after that timeout, and then Conley has a 3 to cut it to 6. Then Edwards has a steal and run on Justin Brown to cut it to 4. Edwards steal again, 2, then 3 to end the third to get it to a 1-point game. So this is all happening over the course of a giant third. Every single shot that the Nuggets have, the Timberwolves have an answer for. They make this 15-point deficit 1 by the end of the third. So the Nuggets are not always answering the Timberwolves, but the Timberwolves are always answering the Nuggets. And yeah, it was just an insane insanity run for the Timberwolves. Great way to get yourself back into the game. Edwards is finally playing well. Like I said, he had a couple steals, and a couple threes. and all of a sudden the Timbies are back in the game. And it might go to show that the Timberwolves can't do this without Edwards because they're down by 15 without him, and with him, well, without him, and with him, they're back in the lead because the Timberwolves extend to a 5-point lead to start the fourth. The Nuggets are able to catch up on a Porter three. Mike Conley had a great game here. He had a couple of steals, some threes. Obviously, a great game off the bench for this guy. His three was answered by a Jokic three, and then the biggest moment, what I believe to be the turning point in this game, the Rudy Gobert step back on Jokic. Jokic, if you look at his face, he can't believe Rudy Gobert hits this shot to extend the lead to four. They thought they were going to be going back with a chance to take the lead or tie it. But Rudy Gobert, of all people, step backs over all people, Nikola Jokic, and I just like I had a like that scene in Jurassic Park where he has to like rub the window to make sure, or the windshield to make sure he's seeing what he really thought he just saw. That was me watching this. It was unbelievable. Um, and more for Rudy Gobert. They have to rely on this guy for free throws, and God, that is not for the faint of heart. It is not because Rudy Gobert sucks at free throws. However, he is drilling his free throws this game, and the Nuggets at that point must have realized they were cooked chicken nuggies at this point. Um, However, Jokic said no. He was making some crazy ass threes. There was one point, however, where he was under the basket and he goes up to shoot it. Nas Reed, insane block from behind and runs it back the other way to take the point. Edwards misses a three. Reed comes in and slams it. So Reed is starting to go off. Mike Conley on a steal. Reed to Edwards, three. 10-point lead. Timeout Nuggets. This is just unbelievable work from the Timberwolves. It's 92-82 at this point. It's clear that the Nuggets aren't going to get 100. Timmy's, I'm sure, would feel a lot more comfortable if they got into that triple-digit realm and continued to run. But that Nuggets timeout works like a charm. Rudy Gobert ends up fouling out right after it. The Nuggets blaze back to a 5-point game with 1 minute left. Um, I forget who shot it. Who the hell shot it? Was it Mike Conley? Was it Mike Conley? Yes. Mike Conley shoots it from three, misses, but Cat with a this was the dagger. Oh! Cat runs in with a backwards dunk, extends the lead to 7 with like 30 seconds left. The Nuggets aren't able to do anything off it. Jamal Murray puts up a prayer shot, not able to go in, and the defending champions in both the NHL and the NBA have been eliminated. We will see a new champion in this league. The most recent winner in this one is the Boston Celtics in '08. Minnesota never. Pacers, I would believe to be never. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. The Mavericks won it in 2011, so they're the most recent winners. And then the Celtics. Still 10 years, totally new squads. We love to see it as NBA fans. Obviously, being a Celtics fan, I am a lot more into this than because in the NHL, it's like I do care who wins, but it's like I'd be happy with any of the options or most of the options. There's like five guys at least on each team where I'm gonna be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Even though I don't like the Rangers, I don't want the Rangers to win. I would rather any other team win than the Rangers. There's still plenty of guys on there I would love to see lift the cup. The same goes for the NBA, except and then some. I really, really, really obviously want the Celtics to win it. However, Luca raising it, um, friggin' Edwards raising it, Halliburton raising it. You can't go wrong in that scenario. So go Boston Celtics, but this is going to be great. I don't think the Pacers are going to shoot the way they did in this game. I don't think anyone will. Can we can we double back really quick actually? Because I meant to look into this. Pacers from the field ended 67, so less than I thought it would be. Because like I said, they started at like friggin' 80, but 67 is still absolutely batshit crazy. The fact that I'm like, oh, it's only 67 just goes to show how well the Pacers were shooting in this game. Um, but yeah, really quick, I'm gonna lean towards you guys again and look into these Nuggets contracts for their offseason. I guess I would call it a disappointing season for the Nuggets because they did have a great chance to go back to back, but as it stands for the last 6 years, the previous champion has not made it past the second round. I love this as a fan of giving it to a different team every year. However, I think it would be a lot more interesting had, you know, the the defending champion played more of a bad guy role, you know what I mean? They haven't really done that in the NBA, but who am I to complain? Let's see. Who's expiring? Absolutely fucking nobody. Justin Holiday and DeAndre Jordan are expiring. Jamal Murray has 1 year left. Reggie Jackson, 1 year left. Caldwell Pope, 1 year left. But yeah, no, there's no one really expiring for them. I don't know. I would say for the Nuggets, maybe expand on your bench a little bit. We saw a lot from Justin Brown this series. No one was really expecting him to come off the Nuggets bench and do what he did a lot of the time. He had some highlight reel shots and plays, that's for sure. So I would say try to extend on that, get Brown some help off the bench. If you get yourself a decent bench, Denver, you are looking at a very, very dangerous team because it is a top-heavy team. Denver is obviously a top-heavy team. There's points where people are like, Jamal Murray is not playing well, then the Denver Nuggets are not going to win the game. This obviously wasn't the thing here because Murray did play well, but they did not win the game. And I think you need to put yourself in a position where if Murray and Jokic don't play well, you could still win the game. That's what the Celtics did. Obviously, Celtics are an unrealistically deep team. However, they were able to accomplish this with Tatum and Brown. And, Jokic and Murray, Tatum, Brown, I'm not going to make my comparisons, but I'll tell you what, if they had a little more off the bench or a little more, because I don't want to say Pope isn't decent depth. I definitely don't want to say Aaron Gordon isn't decent depth. I just wanted to go if I'm a Nuggets fan, which I'm not, but if I'm a Nuggets fan, I want to go a little deeper than that. So I guess that's what I would do if I was the Nuggets this offseason. Like I said, the Knicks don't have that problem with Alec Burks off the bench and all the injuries that they had. They still had a great starting five. They don't have that issue. Who else got eliminated? The Thunder. The Thunder are a young team. They just need their starters to start expanding their play. Other than SGA, obviously SGA is the GOAT. Should have got MVP. But what was I gonna say? Holmgren is gonna work on his game. This was obviously a great start for him in terms of series. Jalen Williams need to work on his game. He had some great games, but some stinkers. But yeah, in terms of the Denver Nuggets, I just think you build that bench and you see what you can do. Try to go for some players with smaller contracts, maybe, and just have them come in. And if you just get one out of every 3 games, some balling from those guys, that's all you might really need. But yep. So we got the what? I almost said the Nuggets. I was just so sad on the Nuggets being in this. The Timberwolves and the Mavericks and the Celtics and the Pacers. One of those guys is taking it home. I see the Timberwolves beating the Mavericks maybe in 6. I don't know. They're just on such a hot streak right now. It would be really nice to see Luka go to his first final, but obviously for myself, all bets are off. I want the Celtics to win it all. I would love to have Mike in here to say who would our best competition be, or not best competition, but who would we like to see the most as a Celtics fan in the finals, who would give us the easiest challenge. Obviously, the Mavericks and the Timberwolves are both very tough teams to play against. They made it this goddamn far, am I right? I mean, you got Luke, you got a rock and a hard place between Luka and Edwards. But first we got to deal with Halliburton and the Pacers. I think this is the best out of the scenarios that the Celtics could have faced between the Knicks and the Pacers. Um, However, it is definitely the hardest matchup we've had so far. We haven't had any banger matchups. We had Butlerless Heat, and we had the Cavs, which to end was Mitchell-less. It would be like having the Halliburton-less Pacers or the Siakam-less Pacers. More like the Halliburton-less Pacers, though. Um, but we will see how that ages because, anything can happen, and that's what I say in hockey. Mike says no. I don't know, man. That's why I need Mike here to help me. But gotta take his big old business calls, big businessman Mike. But yeah, as far as I am aware, that is all. We will be back. Shit, what, Tuesday? Is that when the third round starts? Let me double check on that. We're only gonna have one game a day to cover on this channel. I am free from having to watch 4 friggin' games of highlights. Yes, the Pacers and the Celtics start tomorrow on Tuesday, and then the Mavericks and the Timberwolves start on Wednesday. We are getting the Pacers on a short rest, obviously, because they just played yesterday. Only 2 games. They got to fly. It's not that big a flight from New York to Boston. Not big at all, actually. But they do have to play. But the problem with that is the Celtics have been resting and the Pacers have been playing meaningful basketball for a minute. So they might come out swinging and we might come out lackey-daisy, especially without Porzingis and a game 2 curse. That's not good. So we will see what happens. But needless to say, the Celtics should go back to the finals this year. But that is all. Thank you guys for watching. And me and Mike will be back on Wednesday to bring you a recap of the Pacers Celtics game. See you then.